Good morning, my friends. How are you? So, I'm back in circulation. I took a week off to be in silence, and yesterday we did break the silence with a global live meditation. It was very interesting. We had set up a website for the global live meditation, but apparently we had a million people signing or registering for it, so the site broke down. We had to switch quickly to Facebook Live, and a lot of you joined us. So thank you very much for that lovely experience. So today, now that I'm out of my self-imposed week of silence and isolation, I want to share with you some ideas on harnessing the power of intention, and also how we can continue our healing process during this particular time of the corona pandemic, but also beyond that. How can we use this experience to enhance our personal and collective healing? As I mentioned, I had 1 week of very productive silence. I spent the day doing 2 hours of meditation, 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening. I also did 2 yoga sessions every day, complete yoga sessions every day, 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. And then at night I practiced yoga nidra, and also practiced attentional and intentional healing at night. And so it was very productive for me. And I want to share some of the experiences with you, and I will over the next few days and weeks. But today I wanted to reinforce how both intention and attention can become the triggers for transformation, for healing, for higher consciousness, for creativity, and for actually creating a new and better world. So let me share with you some of the ideas I'm having right now. There are 2 very significant words that we use in a very special way. The first word is attention. So let's just talk about attention. Attention is focused awareness on any experience. So when you have focused awareness on sound or music, just focused awareness on sound is deep listening, that is attention. When you have focused awareness on what I'm saying right now, that is attention, focused awareness. But that focused awareness can be employed in any sensory experience: taste, smell, sound, sensation, perception, any experience, any sensory experience, but also any mental experience. You can put your attention on a thought, or a feeling, or an emotion, or a memory, or an image, on and on. So the screen of consciousness presents to us sensations, perceptions, images, feelings, and thoughts. And when we pay attention to any one of those experiences, any one of those experiences with focused attention, then we are bringing energy to whatever we put our attention on. That's simple. Okay? So that's attention, a deep listening, but also a deep awareness of a particular experience, sensory or mental experience, without judgment, without labels, without definition, without interpretation. So that is focused attention. As opposed to what? As opposed to field intention. So field intention is being aware of the space right now in which the experience is happening. If you use soft eyes, as I've mentioned, your eyes are unfocused and aware of the space engulfing you and me and everything else. We are surrounded by infinity on all sides. Okay, so when we move from focused awareness to field awareness, then we are actually in touch with infinite awareness, which is our source. Field awareness is infinite awareness, and focused awareness is awareness of an object, a physical object, which is a perceptual object, or a mental object. That's attention. And what is intention? Intention is the desire to change the experience. So intention is the trigger for transformation of experience. It comes from a deep level of desire programmed into our very soul as karma, memory, etc. Okay? So intention is a trigger for transformation of experience. One of the Upanishads from the wisdom tradition of Vedanta says, you are what your deepest desire is. As is your desire, so is your intention. As is your intention, so is your will. As is your will, so is your deed. As is your deed, so is your destiny. So, once we know how to harness intention and attention, we have the key to the manifestation of our desires. In fact, this is the only key to the manifestation of desire. Whatever you want to call it, law of attraction, this, that, and the other. It is not through the power of thought. As I've said before, positive thinking can be exasperatingly stressful sometimes, but a quiet mind is a healing mind. So when we go past the secret passages, the dark alleys, the ghost-filled attics of the mind, then we come to the source of all existence, the source of all experience, the source of all sensations, images, feelings, thoughts, perceptions. So a quiet mind, attention, intention, and there you have it. This is the power of manifestation. Okay, so right now, as we face the pandemic crisis, this corona pandemic crisis, what is our intention? And obviously, our intention is healing for ourselves and of everybody, of the whole world. Healing the entire ecosystem of existence. That's our intention. And so personally, what I do is in the mornings after my meditation, or before my meditation, or before my yoga, or after my yoga, or sometimes even during yoga, or a breathing exercise, I introduce 4 intentions every day. One is joyful, energetic body. Second is loving, compassionate heart. So I seed them, the joyful, energetic body in my entire body. Loving, compassionate heart here, in my heart. Reflective, alert mind over here. And then lightness of being and healing pervading all of space and time. These are my 4 intentions every day. And then the rest of the day, my actions are motivated by these intentions. That's so simple. So if the intention always is joyful, energetic body, loving, compassionate heart, reflective, alert mind, lightness of being and healing, then if you start your day with that, then the rest of the day organizes itself around those intentions, which means thoughts, feelings, choices, behaviors, what we call also these days mindful awareness or metacognition, being aware of having a sensory experience in the moment without judgment, and being aware of choices, volition also. And after a while it becomes a habit. And once it becomes a habit, then intention organizes its own fulfillment. Intention coming from a deep level of awareness beyond the ego mind actually organizes its own fulfillment. That's it. So let's go a little deeper into this right now. So become aware right now. I'm doing a little practice with you. Become aware of your toes in the right foot. Just become aware of your toes, right foot. And that experience that you're having right now is attention. Now, wiggle your toes. So first you became aware of your toes, now wiggle them. Or you can move your hands. And that's intention. First you become aware, attention, then you change the experience, intention. Now this is very obvious that intention influences muscle movement and motor activity, including right now my desire to speak. This is very obvious, right? But what is not obvious is that intention and attention similarly influence autonomic function. Autonomic function is the function of your autonomic nervous system, which has 2 components. The sympathetic nervous system, which goes into overdrive when you're threatened. Right now, the whole world, because of the pandemic, is on sympathetic overdrive. Sympathetic overdrive, which means heart rate is fast, blood pressure is higher, platelets are sticky, there's inflammation, and there's lack of self-regulation, and there's therefore risk of disease, because sympathetic overdrive, it actually causes both inflammation, also activates the genes that interfere with self-regulation and enhances therefore the susceptibility to disease through what we call immunocompromisation. Lisa, I was in silence for a week, not a month. Okay. And you missed the earlier part of this conversation. Okay, so right now the world's attention and intention is focused on the consequences, the morbidity, the mortality from the pandemic virus. And therefore we are taking precautions. And what precautions are we taking? Basically physical hygiene, distancing, physical social distancing, and also hygiene in terms of washing hands and not touching the face, etc. You've heard all that. But what you're not focusing attention on is mental hygiene. Mental hygiene means the quiet mind. Also, mental hygiene means being able to trigger the healing response by activating the parasympathetic nervous system. So we're not focusing on that yet, but we are going to start focusing on that. I gave you an example of voluntary activity, as in wiggling the toes or moving the hands or speaking. But intention also activates autonomic activity. So when you pay attention to your heart, do it right now. You can close your eyes and or not, and be aware of your heart. And if you still your mind and you keep your mind quiet, which you can by just focused awareness of the heart, you'll start to feel the heartbeat, either as a sound or a sensation. And then you can mentally ask your heart to slow down, and you can observe it slowing down on your Fitbit or your smartwatch or whatever. That's the power of intention. You can do the same thing with your breathing. Yeah, so you can observe your breathing and slow it down from 14 to say 8 by counting to the count of 6 on the inhale, stopping for 2 seconds, pause, exhaling for 4 seconds, and you'll slow your heart rate significantly. You'll increase your heart rate variability, which is a sign of resilience, and you'll get relaxed and you'll activate the genes for self-regulation. You'll cut down inflammation just by slowing your breath or slowing your heart rate, or actually putting awareness in your whole body and just doing Vipassana. Vipassana means just awareness of the intermittent stream of sensations that arise and subside in your body in an eternal and ceaseless and timeless present moment called now. You can do that anytime. And when we start doing this, when we start harnessing this deep desire for a joyful, energetic body, a loving, compassionate heart, a reflective, alert mind, lightness of being, and healing pervading across the ocean of consciousness, because we are also the source at the level of pure awareness. We are the ocean and we are the wave at the same time. And as we activate the waves of intention, then they pervade all of space-time as well. Because ultimately, all experience is what I've been saying, SIFT, sensations, perceptions, images, feelings, thoughts. This is experience. And then we construct our everyday reality around it. Now, intention not only orchestrates motor activity in the muscles, in the musculoskeletal system, but it also, as I said just now, orchestrates the healing response through the autonomic nervous system, particularly when it's combined with dharana, which is focused awareness in deep stillness, dhyan, which is meditation, and samadhi, which is transcendence. This is called Samyama or Sanyama in the yogic traditions. And therefore, dharana, dhyan, samadhi are the key. Noruddin keeps sending me a message. I sent you a message, please answer me. I don't know where you sent the message, so I don't know how to answer you. But thank you for reminding me. Okay, so Voltaire says, symbols, all are symbols, experiences of consciousness. Absolutely. So sensations, images, feelings, thoughts, perceptions are symbols of reality, but they construct our everyday reality. And intention not only activates the autonomic nervous system and the musculoskeletal system, but actually does something even more interesting. At a subtle level, it influences our modes of knowing and experience. It influences our perceptual activity and the interpretation of the perceptual activity, which gives rise to the experience of everyday reality. So as we face this pandemic and follow all the rules of physical hygiene, why not also start practicing mental hygiene. And remember, mental hygiene is not stressful, positive thinking. Mental hygiene is a quiet mind and subtle intention in the quiet mind. Actually, if you go deeply into the 8 limbs of yoga, yama, niyama, rules of personal and social conduct, and then into pranayam, yogasana, pratyahara, dharana, dhyan, samadhi, you have the complete mechanics. You have the complete mechanics of how to activate the healing self, which was the book I and Rudy wrote together as well. And these days, the whole emphasis on the mindful awareness. And by the way, we have this film which is being released April 1 or first week of April on the mindfulness movement. I and Jewel were all collaborating on the executive production of this film, which is on the mindfulness movement. But the mindfulness movement is also the awareness movement. And awareness includes all the practices of mindfulness, but also all the practices that I've mentioned, from yama, niyama, pratyahara, and yogasana, and the breathing techniques, all of that, pranayama, dharana, dhyan, samadhi, just any one of those, and slowly expanding to that, we create this global movement for healing and transformation. So one of the things that did become very obvious to me during this week of silence was, of course, the interconnectedness and inseparability of all existence. So, if you think of all the issues in the world today, social injustice, economic injustice, climate change, political arguments and fighting and war and terrorism, melodrama, hysteria, panic, stress, just totally insane behavior, it all springs from the divided mind. And actually, for me anyway, right now, the week of silence, taking my attention off the news and just focusing on what well-being is in its broader sense. Well-being is not only physical health, but emotional and social well-being, purpose-driven well-being, community well-being, financial well-being, and ultimately emotional and spiritual well-being as well. All these are connected. It's not just the virus that we have to tackle. It's one symptom. We have to come out of this recognizing the fragility of our social constructs, the fragility of our economic frameworks, the fragility of our cultural institutions, and the fragility of life itself. As I said, life is both tenacious and fragile, like a dewdrop on a trembling leaf. But existence is tenacious. Existence takes care of itself, and existence is at the source of pure consciousness. Mind, body, perceptions, relationships, ecosystems, these are the projections of the source. So let this be an opportunity for all of us to harness the powers of attention and intention and move in the direction of that critical mass for a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier, and joyful world. Take care and God bless. Let's continue our journey together from here to here. Journey without distance. The journey of soul to soul, spirit to spirit, joy to joy, healing to wholeness. Let's be holy. Let's be healed. Thank you, my friends.